In this video, Will Molasky shares his insights from the Torah.
Today we call upon the wisdom of Will Molasky.
First, I must leave a background on my perspective as what we as cognitive human beings really are. I believe our physical bodies consist of our physical organs, which of course includes our brain and its neurological components, as well as the non-physical components of our mind and our soul. Within this framework, our autonomic or involuntary nervous system, which includes our animal instincts, has to balance with our voluntary nervous system to control our bodies. It is the mind, something that is not a physical organ, that processes and coordinates what we as a person actually does. I have come to believe within our physical bodies, all humans are born with an animal or a seal level of soul that stays with us throughout our lives, but dies with us when we pass on. Additionally, we acquire a secondary soul, a soul aspect that I relate to a symbiotic relationship that merges with our being around the time of our birth. Within the symbiotic relationship is an internal struggle within ourselves, where our mind is always trying to balance the ego aspect of our involuntary survival part within us with the higher spiritual aspect of our soul. And that is often pulling us in competing directions. I believe this higher soul aspect is the force within us that is striving for our self and soul improvement. And this is the aspect of our advanced soul that leaves our bodies when we exit the physical existence and reverts to the non-physical plane. As we equate our daily earthly existence being on the seal level of our soul, dealing with our instinctual animal survival drive, that is to satisfy our typical needs for food, for shelter, for safety, and reproduction, or sexual desires, our ego is always justifying us in wanting more money, better things, more and better sex, etc. We can see the challenge of elevating ourselves up to the next soul level of Yetzirah, the emotional level of empathy, sympathy, and love, that thankfully most of us can elevate from, or to, and almost all people do, that allows us to forego some of our animal drives and to have a feeling of comfort and concern for others. Next, we could strive for the level of Bariah, of spiritualization, and possibly the mystical world of Absolute. We are each born with unique gifts and abilities that we then develop into who we become as we mature. I interpret the command of Lech Lecha, to go forth, as leaving the comfort of our everyday seal level of existence and work on improving ourselves and elevate our inner beings by lessening our ego and tapping into our inner soul striving to elevate our existence. Only it is not our place to compare who and what we are to other people, whether in the daily standards of finances, looks, possessions, knowledge, or relationships, or on our spiritual maturity. It is our duty only to look at ourselves as to who and what we are now, as a starting point, and to work on improving ourselves and our imperfections. Only you and Hashem know where you started from and your progress to date, and your potential for further advancement. So, the principal message I take from this week's Torah portion is that I feel we must start from the place of contentment with what we have and have been blessed with, and Lech Lecha, go forth from where we are and who we are, and step into who we can become.
Isn't that amazing? So if you can encapsulate that thought in one sentence and make it a blessing for everyone, how would you do this?
Accept who and who you are and where you are now. Don't worry about anybody else's judgment, because it means nothing. Just realize that you want to share that relationship and try to step forward to improve yourself.
For those that would like to embrace a divine relationship and to elevate above judgment and to embrace self-acceptance and acceptance of the world around you, please come forward for the first reading.
I think anybody
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bacharanu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato, notein Torah. Amen.
For more information, visit taocenter.net.